those things. It's one of those, don't make it harder than it has to be. So what I've done right here, if you look at, this is L, what I'm going to do actually, let's make this easier to look at. We've got a lot of data in here. L4, we're going to copy this over to L1. Get rid of everything else. Okay, beautiful. So here's our state data, and it's sorted. Not very dark. Yeah, I screw this up every time I try it. Oh, that's actually not bad. So there's our state data sorted. Remember sorting? We did sorting quickly last time, I think. So Sarah asked a very, very good question. How do you find your percentile rank? So remind me what percentile rank is before we answer her question.
Parts of 100.
Good. Very good. That's the percent part of it. But what's the ranking part of it? No, I love that, Kelly. You got the important part. It's part of 100, and the ranking implies what? Say that again, Jen? Where are you placed? What percent of 100 are you bigger than? Exactly. So Sarah, how many states have you been to?
16.
16. So what we do is we count up the people that have been to fewer than 16 states. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14.
There's 2 16s.
That's okay. And thank you for that, Jen. All we're doing is strictly less than Sarah's number. And you bring up an interesting point. I'm actually developing an exam question around your question. And it's only because it's interesting, but it's not crucial. And it's a great way to kind of look back at this in 6 weeks. Thank you. Thank you. So now notice, Sarah, too, this is kind of fun. This number right here tells me which cell I'm in on the way down. So 13, 12, and so forth. So you know there are 14 people that have been to fewer states than you have been to. 14 people have been to fewer states than you, yes? So now the question is, what percent of people have been to fewer states than Sarah? What else do you have to know?
The number.
You got to know the total number. Thank you, Tony. So we have to go to the bottom, if you will. Now here's a quick way to get to the bottom of a list. I think we were about halfway through it right then. A quick way to get to the bottom is just go to the top and it cycles back on itself. Just keep arrowing up and it'll come down the bottom. And there are exactly 28. Sarah, essentially, you're the median, aren't you? She's the median, yes? Because half the people have been to fewer states than you have been to. Essentially, you're the median. Now, I say essentially because if you calculated the median on this data, it would actually be 15, wouldn't it? The number would be 15 because the between 14 and 16 is the actual number 15. But by the definition that is commonly used of, it's the percentage you're bigger than 50%. Fair enough? And that's all any of you would do to calculate your percentile rank. You'd find yourself in that list and figure out how many have been to fewer, divide that by 28, that's a percentage. And you're done. That's it. But there's nothing else to do. That's what people, I think people want, like, what else do I have to do? Nothing, that's it. I think people want to make statistics harder than it has to be. Like today, you should just see that I busted a square root in 244, jaws hitting floors. What did you just do? I took a square root. What the? It's okay. Deep breath, namaste. Let's do some child's pose. I mean, it's all good. It's really simple math. But don't make it harder than it has to be. Just divide by the total and you've got your percentage.
Can you say that one more time?
I don't
Just
know what
that
I
one
say.
sentence about using other people's data.
Oh, all you've got to do is, you know there's 28 people in the list.
Okay.
Divide that into how many have less than you. And that's your percentile rank. Check this out, Kelly. On that PowerPoint from Tuesday,
Yes.
there's a gray box. That's what I just said.
Okay.
And you can it's there a reference for you.
Okay.
That way you don't have to worry about writing it down. You can just keep the conversation going.
Okay.
Fair? So that's how you would find your percentile rank. The TI doesn't do it for you. It doesn't do percentiles because you would have to actually give it where you are and have it count for you. And I've never written a program for that because it's not worth it. It's not worth your time to have a program. It's easier just to look at the list and figure it out yourself. Although it is helpful to sort the list. Yes, it's harder to do that. It's harder to do that when you've got an entire list of jumbled data. It's much easier to have the list sorted in front of you. So that's why we did that first. Cool. So what was this the beginning of? We've been doing this wonderful exploration for